air, thick and wet, hangs heavy in the cypress swamp. You feel the ground shudder, a rhythmic, deep vibration that isn't thunder. Through the giant ferns, you see it, a wall of pebbled, slate-gray hide, standing as tall as a house. It is an adult male Triceratops, 10 tons of muscle and bone, browsing on a cycad. Its head is a fortress, a solid shield of bone nearly 8 feet, about 2.4 meters, across, from which 3 horns jut forward like titanic spears. Suddenly, it stops chewing. Its head snaps up. From the tree line opposite, a shadow detaches itself from the darkness. A deep, guttural roar shatters the calm. A sound with enough force to feel in your chest. The king has arrived. A fully grown Tyrannosaurus Rex steps into the clearing, its gaze locked onto the horned titan. The predator's head is the size of a refrigerator, its teeth like railroad spikes. The Triceratops plants its feet, massive legs like ancient pillars, and emits a bellowing challenge. The T-Rex lunges, a 40-foot, 12-meter blur of teeth and power, aiming for the neck. In response, the great shield lowers, pointing its 2 3-foot, nearly 1 meter, brow horns directly at the attacker's chest. The collision is imminent. How did this creature evolve such an impenetrable defense? What is the scientific truth behind this incredible scene? A battle of titans written into the fossil record itself? Share with us in the comments which prehistoric creature's life fascinates you the most. Now, let's journey back in time and open the forgotten file of a single life. The story doesn't begin in the humid chaos of the Cretaceous, but in the dry, dusty plains of Wyoming in 1887. Here, a fossil collector exploring the high prairie stumbled upon a bizarre and monumental find. A pair of enormous horns still attached to a thick skull fragment. They were utterly perplexing. Nothing like them had ever been seen.
Can't believe what I'm seeing.
The initial conclusion, published with scholarly confidence, was that they belonged to an unusually large, extinct species of bison from a more recent ice age. It was an understandable mistake, a smile-worthy moment in the history of science. The sheer antiquity of the bones was inconceivable. No one yet grasped that these were not the remnants of a giant mammal, but the first clue to one of the most iconic animals that ever lived. This single fossil was a whisper from a forgotten world, the first piece of a puzzle that would resurrect a true giant and rewrite our understanding of life on Earth. Let us wind the clock back, leaving that dusty Wyoming field and journeying deeper into the past, to 66 million years ago. You are not in the presence of a 10-ton bull, but within the confines of a warm, dark, and humid space. You are curled inside a leathery shell, an egg roughly the size of a large cantaloupe, buried in a shallow nest of soil and rotting vegetation. For weeks, the warmth of the decaying plants has served as a natural incubator. Now, driven by an ancient, irresistible instinct, you begin to push. Your tiny beak, a feature you share with your distant bird cousins, presses against the pliable shell wall. It gives, and a sliver of brilliant, alien light cuts through the darkness. The air that rushes in is thick with the smell of damp earth, ferns, and something else. Giants. With a final effort, you break free, a sprawling, clumsy creature just 3 feet, about 1 meter, long. The world is a bewildering kaleidoscope of greens and browns, a forest floor littered with colossal footprints, each one a potential grave. Your famous horns are little more than soft, rounded nubs on your face, and the magnificent shield you will one day carry is just a delicate, scalloped frill around your neck. You are the definition of vulnerable. Your only defense is your size, small enough to be overlooked. and the immense shadow that now falls over the nest. Your mother, a creature so vast her knee is level with the treetops you see, lowers her immense head. Her gaze is a mix of primal instinct and, one might imagine, a hint of recognition. You are one of perhaps a dozen hatchlings, all blinking in this new, terrifying world. While Hollywood often portrays dinosaurs as solitary monsters, the fossil evidence for Triceratops, from bone beds containing multiple individuals, paints a picture of a complex social life. Survival here depends not on your own strength, but on the protection of the herd. Your challenge is immense. From a starting weight of just 20 pounds, about 9 kilograms, you must grow 1,000 times over to reach your adult size, all while navigating a world where predators like the lithe, intelligent Acroraptor lurk in every shadow. Your life has just begun, and it is the most dangerous it will ever be. The seasons turn, measured in the bloom and decay of giant magnolia-like flowers. Years have passed since you broke from that shell. You are no longer a fragile hatchling. You are now an adolescent, a gangly, awkward creature the size of a large rhinoceros, but still utterly dwarfed by the colossal adults who define the shape of your world. This is your training ground. Your life is a constant lesson in becoming a Triceratops. Your once noob-like horns have grown into formidable spikes, but in a way that might seem surprising. Scientific discoveries of juvenile skulls show that at this age, your brow horns curve backward, like those of a modern mountain goat. They aren't yet the forward-facing lances of an adult. You and your peers engage in endless, almost playful sparring matches, locking these curved horns and shoving, testing your strength, building the immense neck muscles you will one day need. It's a low-stakes game now, but it is practice for lethal combat later on. Your frill, once delicate, is expanding and hardening, the scalloped bones along its edge becoming more pronounced. It's not just for defense. You watch the adults flush blood into their frills, creating vibrant, intimidating displays of color to ward off rivals, a living billboard of size and strength. You are learning the language of your kind. You are also mastering the tools of a professional herbivore. Your powerful beak, sharp and strong enough to snap a tree branch the thickness of a human arm, makes quick work of the tough, fibrous cycads and ferns that carpet the forest floor. Behind that beak lies the real engine of your digestion, a dental battery, hundreds of teeth stacked in columns, constantly replacing themselves as they wear down. It's a biological machine of incredible efficiency, designed to shred vegetation for hours on end. The herd moves like a slow, deliberate river through the landscape, and you learn its rhythms. You learn which watering holes are safest, which ravines offer ambush points for predators, and you feel the low, rumbling vocalizations of the adults that signal safety or alarm. You are no longer helpless, but you are not yet a fortress. A careless stray from the herd brings a terrifying, fleeting encounter with a subadult Tyrannosaurus, a stark reminder that your apprenticeship is far from over. The shield is still being forged. Decades have now passed. The gangly youth is a distant memory, a ghost in the long timeline of your life. You are now at your zenith, a colossal bull weighing more than 20,000 pounds, over 9,000 kilograms, the dominant patriarch of your herd. Your body is a testament to survival. The horns that once curved backward in adolescence have undergone a remarkable transformation, a process of bone remodeling confirmed by the fossil record. They now sweep forward, two devastating spears over 3 feet, nearly a meter long, perfectly angled to intercept a threat. Your shield-like frill is a solid wall of bone, scarred and grooved from countless territorial disputes with other males. You are the very definition of the name Triceratops, the three-horned face. Your life is a rhythm of grazing and vigilance, of leading your herd to fresh groves of cycads, your immense bulk carving new paths through the dense undergrowth. But today, that rhythm is broken. The air grows still. A familiar scent of carnivore hangs in the humid air. And then you see it, the same apex predator that has haunted the edges of your world your entire life. A massive adult Tyrannosaurus Rex steps into the clearing, its eyes uniquely forward-facing for a dinosaur, giving it terrifying binocular vision. It fixes its gaze on a younger, more vulnerable member of your herd. You do not hesitate. You move to intercept, placing your immense body between the hunter and its intended prey. The challenge is issued with a deafening bellow. The T-Rex accepts, letting out a roar that is more felt than heard. It lunges, its gaping mouth aiming to bring its infamous bite force. An astonishing 8,000 pounds, around 35,500 newtons of pressure, down upon your neck. But your instincts, honed over a lifetime of survival, are faster. You dip your head, and the tyrant's teeth scrape uselessly against the solid bone of your frill. The impact sends a shockwave through your body, but the shield holds. You pivot on your powerful hind legs, a surprising burst of agility for a creature your size, and drive forward. This is no Hollywood fantasy. This is brutal physics. You are a low-slung, 10-ton battering ram. One of your brow horns connects with the predator's flank, puncturing deep into muscle. The T-Rex shrieks in pain and fury, disengaging. It assesses the situation. The cost of this meal has just become too high. Bleeding, it gives one last defiant roar before retreating into the forest. You have won. You are wounded, but alive. The unbreakable shield has proven its worth once more. The deep puncture wound on your flank from the tyrant's tooth eventually heals, knitting bone and hide back together into a permanent, rugged scar. It is a trophy, a lasting testament to the day the shield held against the king. More years pass, marked not by dramatic battles, but by the slow, inevitable procession of the seasons. You are old now. The explosive power in your limbs has faded into a stiff, ponderous gait. Your once lethal horns are worn and blunted from 1,000 challenges, and the edge of your great frill is chipped like ancient stone. You have survived countless predators, droughts, and floods, but you cannot defeat time. A younger, more powerful bull now leads the herd, his displays more vibrant, his challenges more energetic. You have ceded your throne not in a violent struggle, but through a quiet, mutual understanding, the way of things in a world without sentimentality. You are now an elder, following at the back of the herd, your presence still a comfort to the young, your immense size still a deterrent to all but the most desperate predators. One season, the rains are late. The cycads are tough and dry, and the effort of foraging becomes immense. An old ache in your leg, a reminder of a long-forgotten injury, now burns with a constant fire. You grow weak, and one morning, as the herd moves toward a distant river valley, you find you cannot follow. They move on, a river of gray hides disappearing into the ferns. It is the law of survival. Alone, you make your way to a muddy floodplain, the ground soft beneath your immense weight. There is no final predator, no dramatic last stand. Your end is a quiet one. You lie down, the strain on your heart and bones finally too much to bear. Your breathing, once the bellowing of a titan, becomes shallow. The vibrant, complex world of the late Cretaceous, with its sounds and smells, fades into a great, final stillness. The body that was a fortress of muscle and bone, an icon of survival, now lies still. The first stage of your story is over. Your next journey, one that will be measured in millions of years, is about to begin as the river, swollen with the coming wet season, begins to deposit the first fine layers of silt over your silent, colossal frame. The river is your tomb and your cradle. Layers of fine silt, carried from distant mountains, settle over your body in a gentle, persistent rain. Your flesh, ligaments, and skin are consumed by the patient work of bacteria, a slow-motion recycling that returns your organic matter to the ecosystem. But your bones, the hard scaffold of your life, remain. This is where your second journey begins. A transformation far slower and more profound than your growth from a hatchling to a titan. The weight of the sediment above you grows immense, tons upon tons, then thousands of tons. This pressure squeezes the water from the mud, turning it to shale and sandstone. You are no longer on the surface of the world, but part of its geology. Water, rich with dissolved minerals from the surrounding rock, percolates through your skeleton. It is a slow, microscopic invasion. Molecule by molecule, minerals like silica and calcite seep into every porous space within your bones. Over thousands of years, they crystallize, perfectly replacing the original bioapatite of your bone structure. It is a process of sublime precision. Your form is not destroyed, but immortalized in stone. The scarred texture on your frill, the worn-down nubs of your horns, and most importantly, the healed puncture wound from the tyrant's tooth. Every detail of your life story is being meticulously recorded. This process, permineralization, is fantastically rare. For every individual whose story is captured this way, millions more were lost forever to decay and time. You are now a fossil, locked within the newly formed Hell Creek Formation. Above you, the world changes in ways you could never have conceived. Millennia blur into epochs. The great inland sea that dominated the continent retreats. The very shape of North America alters as tectonic plates groan and shift. Far above your resting place, a catastrophe from the heavens strikes the earth, ending the 150 million year reign of the dinosaurs. The world of giants vanishes, but you sleep on, oblivious, buried thousands of feet, hundreds of meters deep. Your tomb is lifted by geologic forces, part of the slow, colossal uplift of the Rocky Mountains. The long sleep continues, a silent journey through the abyss of deep time. For 66 million years you slept, a silent passenger in the Earth's crust. But another force has been at work all this time. Erosion, sun, wind, and water have been slowly peeling back the layers of rock, carrying the landscape above you away, grain by grain. One summer afternoon, in the Badlands of modern-day Montana, a paleontologist spots a curve of bone protruding from a hillside, its texture distinct from the surrounding sandstone. It is the edge of your mighty frill. Your long sleep is over. The resurrection is a painstaking process, a delicate dance of dental picks and brushes, plaster and glue. Your stone bones are carefully excavated, jacketed, and transported to a lab, a world of bright lights and strange new sounds. Here, the puzzle of your life is pieced back together. Modern science gives you a voice. By slicing a thin section from your femur and examining it under a microscope, researchers can read the lines of arrested growth, like tree rings, confirming you lived a long life, well into old age. CT scans of your skull reveal the intricate network of blood vessels that once flowed through your frill, hinting at the vibrant colors you might have used for display. But the most stunning revelation comes from the healed scar on your flank. Under close examination, the pathology of the bone tells an undeniable story. The puncture wound, its size, shape, and spacing, is a perfect match for the tooth of one single animal, an adult Tyrannosaurus rex. The extensive, fully healed bone growth around the injury is the critical clue. It is the fossilized proof that this was not a fatal attack. You fought the most fearsome predator of your time, took a grievous wound, and survived. You lived for years, maybe even decades, after the encounter. That single scarred bone transforms you from a specimen into a protagonist. It is the climax of your story, told 66 million years after it ended, a testament to the life of a true survivor. Your skeleton is no longer just a collection of bones. It is a chapter in the epic history of life on our planet. A story that was waiting patiently in the stone to finally be read. The journey of this single animal, from a tiny hatchling to a scarred old warrior, is over. But its echo resonates across the immense gulf of time. To stand before its reassembled skeleton in a museum hall is to stand in the presence of more than just a fossil. You are facing the tangible record of a life lived with purpose against incredible odds. A life of struggle, growth, and ultimate survival. The healed wound in its bone is a quiet testament, a message in a bottle from a lost world that tells us the epic tales of Hollywood were not pure fantasy. They were real, played out in flesh and blood on the plains of a younger Earth. The ground beneath our feet is a library, and each fossil is a book filled with stories of lives we can now begin to read. This single file from the Deep Time Archives reminds us that our planet's history is written not just in rock and ice, but in the unforgettable lives of the creatures who came before us. Each one a hero in its own epic tale, waiting for the light of discovery to be brought out of the darkness.